Coming to you live from Petoskey, Michigan, it's Northern Michigan's only live and local afternoon talk show, WMKT's Talk of the North. Something on your mind? Call our studio line at 866-371-1270 or connect on social media at Triple Talk WMKT on Facebook and X. Now, bringing you the latest news from the region, states, and around the country. Here's your host, Nick Rudy.
Good afternoon, Northern Michigan. Welcome to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk WMKT. Streaming online at WMKT, thetalkstation.com. I'm Nick Rudy, your host. Thank you for tuning in today. Happy Wednesday. We are halfway through the work week here in Northern Michigan. I don't know if it's just me. It feels like it's later in the week. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the weather that's throwing me for a loop, something like that. We've had some interesting weather today, on and off rain showers. But yet, here we are. It is mostly sunny, at least here in the Petoskey area. And we'll see if that sticks around. I think we're going to have more rain later throughout the week, but we'll take a look at your expanded forecast to know, well, maybe not for sure, but have a better idea of it. Tonight, scattered showers tapering out before 2, mostly cloudy skies, a low of about 58. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, a few isolated showers possible, a high near 69. A little chillier tomorrow night. Will be partly cloudy, patchy fog developing after 1, a low around 48. Friday, we'll start with patchy fog, followed by sunny skies, a high near 71. Friday night will be mostly clear with patchy fog after midnight, a low of about 51. And Saturday, we'll be having some sunny skies with a high of 77. So, looks like we might return to a decent weekend, at least to start. Coming up on the show today, we have a lot to get to. A local library plans to buy a new building for a larger facility. They want to expand. Charges have been filed in a crash that killed a Traverse City teen. And I'll be joined by Farmer Jimmy of Pond Hill Farm in Harbor Springs for this month's featuring a farmer interview. Don't miss it. Good conversation. Before we get to all of that, it is time for WMKT's Market Watch. The Dow Jones dropped 113 points down to 53,463. The Nasdaq fell 21 points down to 26,130. The S&P 500 fell a single point down to 7,675. Bitcoin back-to-back days in the red, but not by much. Again, like yesterday, down $149 to 78,400. Gold dropped $62.68 down to $4,592.02, while silver fell 3/4 down to $67.99. Over in Blue Chip World, notable winners today include Apple, Space Exploration Technology, DTE Energy, and Meta Platforms. While on the losing side of things, that's NVIDIA, Domino's Pizza, and Johnson & Johnson. Biggest gain today was Credate Enterprise Ltd. up 164%. Biggest decline was Greenland Mines, down 48%. That has been WMKT's Market Watch. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we return, all that local news and those conversations are headed your way. It's coming up after these messages. You're listening to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk WMKT.
On September 11th, 2001, 2,977 people were killed.
I wasn't there.
But I lived the legacy of people who were.
I wasn't there, but I'll never forget.
25 years later, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum preserves the stories of that day and the service it inspired so that we always remember. Join us at neverforget.org.
It's time for Featuring a Farmer, presented by Ellsworth Farmers Exchange, a proud Legend Seeds dealer.
We're with Chet Craw, the owner of Entrusted Earth Family Farm in Boyne City. How long have you been in operation, and have you always grown the same things, or did you pivot from the start?
I've grown stuff my entire life, but as far as doing this commercially and kind of having a little more fun with it, letting the dream of gardening kind of run to its extreme, this is just our third season. And so one of the questions I get, we do farm tours all the time. Well, what are you adding? It's like, I have done nothing but sort of simplify and subtract since I started. And that's really been sort of the motto, is to figure out what we do well, look at last year, and try getting really better at it. We kind of exist in a niche where we're on the high end, right? Like I'm not trying to compete with a bagged lettuce. I'm trying to give you the best tomato you've had all summer.
Are you a farmer interested in being on the show? Call Nathan Swales in the Ellsworth Farmers Exchange corporate office. 4 locations to serve you: Melanson, Nansalona, Atwood, and Ellsworth. On Triple Talk WMKT.
Vince Colonnese.
So when I hear good parents continuing to give good guidance to their children, I don't see that as, like, the left is treating this like it's some great scandal. Oh my goodness, they're cautioning their daughter against Harvard. I see this as 2 loving parents looking out for the kid that they raised for heaven, not Harvard.
Tune in weekdays on Triple Talk WMKT from noon to 3 for
The Vince Show.
Local news, local voices, and the conversations that matter. You're listening to WMKT's Talk of the North with Nick Rudy on 102.3, 103.3 FM, and 1270 AM Triple Talk WMKT. And streaming across the state of Michigan at WMKTTheTalkStation.com.
Welcome back to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk WMKT, streaming online at WMKTTheTalkStation.com. Our phone number is 866-371-1270, 866-371-1270. If you have comments, questions, concerns, you can give us a call at 866-371-1270, or if you simply want to keep producer Austin company as he is locked in the production closet, he would very much appreciate it. 866-371-1270. Charges have been filed in the fatal crash that killed 17-year-old Wilder Seaburger on Old Mission Peninsula. 22-year-old Benjamin Leask is charged with operating while intoxicated, causing death. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. Investigators say Leask was driving south on Center Road on Sunday when his Ford F-250 crossed the center line and struck Seaburger's Honda CR-V. Seaburger was pronounced dead at the scene. His soccer teammates will be honoring him this season by wearing black armbands marked WWS, which represents his name. Traffic is moving again on South Airport Road following a major sewer main break. The Grand Traverse County Road Commission says both eastbound lanes and one westbound lane are now open while crews continue working near the site. The sewer main was repaired around 3 this morning, and crews then checked for saturated gravel and possible voids beneath the pavement. Drivers are urged to use caution with one westbound lane still closed. A crash in Elmira Township sent 2 people to the hospital yesterday morning. Fire and emergency crews came across a crash at Cedar Run and Reynolds Road around 8 a.m. while responding to another medical emergency. One person had to be extradited from the vehicle. 2 people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Garfield Township trustees have unanimously approved a 1-year moratorium on data centers and cryptocurrency mining facilities. The moratorium will give township officials time to update zoning rules, including where data centers can operate and whether they should require special use permits. The move puts a proposed small-scale data center on Cybrant Road near the Sara Lee plant on hold. The township could extend the moratorium for another 6 months if needed. Officials say they also want to address concerns about water and energy use, noise, infrastructure, and the different impacts of small and large-scale data centers. The Leelanau Township Library is planning to buy the Northport Pub and Grill building and turn it into a larger library and community space. The library's current 2,800 square foot location is too small to meet growing demand. The new building would provide more space for books, programs, study rooms, and community events. The library needs about $1.1 million to purchase the building and has raised about $200,000 so far. A fundraising campaign is expected to be announced soon. Restaurant owner Michelle Haymeyer plans to retire and says selling the building to the library was an attractive option because of its benefit to the community. The restaurant is expected to remain open through the new year. There is no firm timeline for the purchase, and renovation plans will not move forward until the library secures the building. A 24-year-old Texas man who was working seasonally on Mackinac Island faces 13 felony charges following an investigation into alleged child sexual abuse material. State police say Morgan Mitchell of Dalhart, Texas, was investigated by the Michigan State Police Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. A search of his residence uncovered digital evidence. Mitchell returned to Texas after the search, where he was arrested and later brought back to Michigan. He was arraigned on the 17th in Mackinac County District Court. Michigan State Police are asking for help for finding whoever vandalized a car at the Missaukee County Junction trailhead in Herring Township. A four-door Buick was damaged sometime between late August 17th and late morning of August 18th. Police say the windshield and driver's side window were smashed and the roof and hood were dented. Anyone with information is asked to call the Cadillac Post at 231-779-6040. The deadline is approaching for residents affected by April's flooding to apply for federal disaster aid. FEMA and Small Business Administration applications must be submitted by Monday, August 31st at midnight. FEMA has distributed more than $31 million to over 5,700 applicants. Assistance is available to homeowners, renters, nonprofits, and businesses in 27 designated counties, including Grand Traverse, Antrim, Benzie, Charlevoix, Emmett, and Wexford. The SBA is also offering low-interest disaster loans with amounts up to $500,000 for homeowners and $2 million for businesses. Officials say people should file insurance claims first, but still apply for federal assistance before the deadline. Previous applicants can continue updating their case after August 31st. Cadillac Tattoo and Body Art Studios are one step closer to opening in downtown Cadillac. The Planning Commission has backed a zoning change that would remove tattoo studios from the city's adult business classification and allow them in more commercial areas, including downtown. Supporters say the change could attract new businesses and bring more activity to downtown shops and restaurants. The proposal now goes to the city council for final approval. Single Mom Ministries, a nonprofit seeking to help single mothers achieve independence, now has a permanent home in Cadillac. The organization is opened at 118 Stimson Street, providing a place where mothers can find support and connect with resources. Single Mom Ministries will celebrate the new location with an open house on September 8th. The Straits Area Community Foundation is awarding more than $19,000 in grants to 13 nonprofits serving Sheboygan County and Mackinac City. The funding will support projects including emergency communications, workforce housing, literacy, and animal welfare. Grants range from $1,000 to $2,000, with major recipients including McLaren Northern Michigan Foundation, Michigan Works, North Central Michigan College Foundation, and Habitat for Humanity. The foundation's next grant cycle will focus on youth projects. Applications are due March 15th of next year. It's National Dog Day, and it's a reminder that you may not be securing your dog properly when you take them on a car ride. AAA says a new survey found that while 85% of Michigan dog owners believe restraints are important, nearly 2 in 5 still let their dogs ride unrestrained in the car. The top reasons, 49% say so they can stick their head out of the window, 26% don't own a proper restraint for their dog, and 16% say they feel bad for them if they ride in a crate. AAA's Adriana Woodland says if a sudden stop or crash were to occur, an unrestrained dog can be thrown across the vehicle, seriously injured, or even ejected. AAA encourages using vehicle-specific restraints and to secure dogs in a properly sized restraint carrier or crate designed for vehicle use. VA Saginaw will host a town hall and PACT Act Resource Fair for veterans September 9th in Gaylord. The event runs from 6 to 8 p.m. at the VFW Post 1518 on Gornick Avenue. Veterans and their families can learn about VA healthcare benefits, toxic exposure screenings, and the PACT Act, and get help with benefits claims. Refreshments will be provided. The Michigan House has voted to approve a proposal that would limit corporate spending in political campaigns. The measure would prohibit regulated utilities, including DTE and Consumers Energy, from contributing to candidates or political parties. It would also restrict political spending by companies with large government contracts. The House had bipartisan support with 77 representatives voting in favor. However, the proposal is still expected to appear on the November ballot because Senate Majority Leader Winnie Brinks has indicated the Senate will not take it up. If the legislature approves the proposal, it could be amended in future years. If voters approve it, changes to the law would be more difficult. You are now caught up on local and statewide news. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, I'll be joined by Farmer Jimmy of Pond Hill Farm in Harbor Springs. That conversation is headed your way after these messages. You're listening to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM Triple Talk WMKT.
I'm John Dossier. Social media giant Meta will pay about $17 billion in agreed to add child safety measures to its social media platforms in order to settle a lawsuit brought by a number of states accusing the company of trying to get children addicted to its platforms and then illegally collecting their personal data. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays.
Of the bad old days when children had unfettered access to products designed to addict them and expose them to serious mental harm.
Film and TV actor Tim Curry has died at the age of 80. He was known for playing many characters through his career, like the Pennywise the Dancing Clown from the 1990 miniseries adaptation of Stephen King novels It.
I am eternal, child. I am the eater of worlds.
Tim Curry was 80 years old. America is listening to Fox News.
One in 5 kids in America faces hunger. And when you feed a kid who faces hunger, you're doing more than filling an empty stomach. You're feeding the chance to learn, grow, shine. You're feeding the American dream. For the first time, the leading anti-hunger organizations are coming together, not to fight hunger, but to end it. NourishTheAmericanDream.org, powered by Nourishing Neighbors. Join us today.
McDonald Garber Broadcasting President Carrie Davis.
There are things in life that are worth everything. Your family, your health, and then there's the question of having the job you love. When you get to that level where you're able to work at something every day and you love it, that's a great place. I can say that my 20 plus years with McDonald Garber Broadcasting in the radio industry, and now digital combined, I love. As with most companies right now, we're building that next team to carry our industry forward. So if you're looking for not a job, I don't even know if the word is career anymore. It's really a lifestyle. If you're in search of a lifestyle that integrates with all the facets of your world, we have positions available right now that might just fulfill that. Let's have a conversation. It can be with myself, Carrie, one of our owners, or our on-air personalities. You can reach us best at 231-347-8713. Hope to talk soon. 231-347-8713.
Equal Opportunity Employer.
This is Peter Coyote. Neighbors helping neighbors is who we are as Americans. And when disaster strikes, we show up. It's what we do when people are in need. In every community, there's a canopy of care, food banks, shelters, and local groups ready to support. Helping others brings people together. Strangers become neighbors, and friends become family. I urge you to volunteer your time, donate if you can, and show up for your community. Find a local food bank, shelter, or community group and support them today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Triple Talk WMKT weather forecast.
Partly sunny with some clouds sticking around today. Temperatures are in the 70s as our high. Overnight, we do have more chances of pop-up rain showers, otherwise cloudy with a low near 60. Tomorrow should be mostly sunny with highs in the low 70s for Thursday and Friday. Patchy fog in the morning, but it clears up with plenty of sunshine and highs back in the mid-70s by the afternoon. That is your latest weather forecast on 102.3, 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk, WMKT.
If it happens in northern Michigan, you'll hear about it right here on WMKT's Talk of the North with Nick Rudy on Northern Michigan's News Talk leader 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk, WMKT, and streaming online at WMKTTheTalkStation.com.
Welcome back to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk WMKT. We are streaming online at WMKTTheTalkStation.com. We are now joined by Farmer Jimmy of Pond Hill Farm in Harbor Springs. All right, Farmer Jimmy, tell us a little bit about your farm, what you grow, raise. From what I see with my own two eyes when I've been up there and on social media, it's an awful lot.
Well, thanks for asking and thanks for having me. The farm has evolved a lot over the years, and I guess at this point, what we grow more than anything else is an experience. But the farm is 198 acres. We are open 12 months a year, and grow roughly 50 acres of stuff inside a fence. Stuff meaning wine grapes and pumpkins are the biggest acreage of things, but everything from asparagus to zucchini. At this point, we have 4 greenhouses that we're growing in. One of them year-round, the rest season extension, high tunnels, heated on 3 of them. But really our focus is growing for the cafe and putting food onto plates and into food service. So at this point, that keeps us busy 12 months a year, and we're lucky enough to see people in all 4 seasons, and we're kind of just entering the fall season, so it's an exciting time of year.
How long has the farm been in operation? And when I was reading on your website, it does sound like there's a vast difference from the beginning to now. But did it always grow? Did you always raise the same thing since you started?
No, all that's changed a lot over the years. So the farm started as a roadside stand selling eggs for $1 a dozen, with really no business plan on paper or plan exactly for the future. But what I realized pretty quickly, people would ask me if we were running a sustainable farm. And, in the beginning, that meant, to me anyway, it meant trying to build soil health and trying to be organic and do a lot of different things. And what I realized pretty quickly was sustainability is being able to pay your bills and still be here next year. And that's one of the more difficult things, I think, in a seasonal community like this, where people choose to have second and third homes and vacation, is that it's reasonably easy to run a business for 6 to 8 weeks a year. But obviously we live here 52 weeks a year. So, it takes evolving with the times. It takes innovation, and change, right? So the only constant in life is change. So I guess my opinion at this point is you're either growing or dying. And, with a business, you have to continue to evolve and figure out, what do people want? How do you meet them there, but also, live in a community, support the community, and feel good about what you're doing. So I would say that constant change is probably, where we've, stayed.
You mentioned the word organic. It's a question that we ask every farmer that comes in, and we've learned over the past couple of months that it's a bit of a process to be organic, and you can kind of be organic without being certified organic. So are you folks certified organic, or what methods do you use?
So we are not certified organic. There's numerous different reasons behind that. Certainly when it comes to food production, especially when, the end consumer is very close to you or yourself, you have to be, you're more mindful about what you're doing and how you're doing it. We're walking barefoot out in the fields and, feeding the food to our families. So I think awareness of food production, really starts with farmers. And this, we're not loading this into boxes that go to semis, can cross borders and leave our communities. So, I feel pretty good about being a steward of the land, and I guess what I've realized over the years is that nobody owns land. We just take care of it for a while, and the mark that we leave, I guess on our community and in this life really is, by trying to do what's right and keep everybody collectively in the canoe going forward. And I feel like the farm has been a place that I'm happy to think that it's better for the community being what it is than if it went away tomorrow and turned into a subdivision. So, back to the organic thing, I think, we do our absolute best to be stewards of the land and grow cover crops and, build the soil and do all the things. So, thanks for asking.
What makes your farm unique, stand out from other farms?
I guess a few different things, but, we welcome visitors on our farm, and, that comes with pros and cons. Certainly, having the general public wandering around all over can create its own unique set of issues, but it also, it's kind of like inviting people over to your house. It makes you clean stuff up. So, I think, having to look at it through the lens of how to make it accessible to people, how to make it safe, how to make it pretty, and then again, how to make it sustainable so that, hopefully it lives on past, I guess, me and the people running it right now, but continues to hopefully be an asset to the community and a place that people can enjoy. And I guess I've seen a lot of, people buy things and put up no trespassing signs, and we kind of operate in the opposite fashion. So, we open the property every day that we're open. We groom 6.5 miles of trail system year round. We welcome people to, walk around the farm. So I guess that makes us unique, and we're also a place that people can bring big mixed family groups, and you have grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, children, even really young children. And I know when we first started doing live music, my wife and I, no longer, I guess, were able to go to a bar at 10 o'clock at night and watch music, and you'd have to get a babysitter. And so when we started having music, I felt it was important that, people listen to music their entire life from the time they can remember until the time they leave this world. And, a lot of times, kids don't see live music. They don't see live music with their parents. They don't grow up in front of live music. And the farm is a place where people bring their children in diapers and grandma and grandpa, and they hear music. They see musicians play. So I think that's a little bit unique in the sense of there aren't many places that that happens. And we have a lot of people they're very talented musicians that, get to play in front of 3 generations of people. So that's been fun to watch as well.
We're with Farmer Jimmy from Pond Hill Farm in Harbor Springs. You mentioned what you grow, what you produce stays in the community, but I still wanted to ask what you grow. Where does all of it go? It sounds like most of it stays on the farm to be sold or put into products that you sell food. But does any of it go elsewhere? People we've talked to before, sometimes it goes to schools, sometimes it goes to local restaurants, things of that nature.
I would say, 90 to 95% of what we grow at this point is processed and used on the farm. Specifically, most of it, in our day-to-day food service, farm-to-table dinners and events. There is a small amount of stuff that, we pick and, that we have large quantities of that have gone to other local businesses like American Spoon for processing. But, the days of us, wholesaling a lot of produce to other places. There was times, especially in the early days, that I did a lot of that, and Cherry Capital food trucks coming in and picking things up, and delivery routes and farmers markets 5 days a week and all that stuff. But our business model has changed, and for better or for worse, where we are now is trying not to leave the farm. And I found, in those early years, I spent a lot of time loading trucks at 4:30 in the morning, or before light, and leaving, and we weren't able to take care of the property the way that I desired to. So, you got to pick your battles, and just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. But one of the hardest things, I think, in farming is that when somebody asks, why do we do it like this? And it's like, well, because that's the way that we always have. And it's hard if you're on the hamster wheel to, kind of get off and look at things and reevaluate. I guess, that time is winter usually, but winter is also, people always say, boy, it must be nice to be a farmer and have your winters off. But this is actually the easiest time of the year for me specifically. Going in and out of winter, and winter is very difficult. Anyway, at this point, everything stays on the farm, or almost everything. So, and that allows us to focus on making the property the best it can be.
How has farming in northern Michigan changed since you started?
Well, with climate change, I would say our growing seasons are longer in general. In my memory, when I first started doing this, I've grown pumpkins now for 30 years, and one year they all froze July 17th. It got down to 29 degrees, wiped everything out. At this point, we're not freezing until mid to late October in general, so the growing season is longer, although the, weather being erratic, I guess, has changed as well. So I guess, it's ever changing, ever evolving. When I was growing up, we didn't have possums, never saw one. Now we have possums and ticks, and, warmer weather, a little bit longer growing season. So, it's, again, back to change. It's the only constant in life, and like it or not, things will continue to change, and all we can do is, roll with it and evolve and figure out how to make it work.
Were you impacted by the ice storm last year, or the heavy snowfall earlier this year?
Yeah, I think everybody was. The ice storm, I guess, cost us 4 weeks or something. We didn't have power for about, I don't remember if it was 20 days or whatever it was. Got used to it after a while. But, no, internet, no power. Feel like... cold food and no showers and running chainsaws every day. It was actually kind of fun. We got into it, but you learn something about yourself. You learn something about the people that you're with, and reminded me a bit of COVID. But we had a great group of guys and gals working on the farm, and we made it fun. So out just running chainsaws and working your ass off. So. The heavy snowfall, that was, again, these things that haven't happened quite like they did, but, beyond no irreparable damage for us, thankfully. As you drive around the community and you see some of what happened, you realize that, you're just lucky it wasn't you, and that you need to help the people that, are right in the bullseye and maybe aren't capable of helping themselves. So, try to also get out there and do some good in the community and help people that need it. So, hopefully, with the ice storms, the floodings, the giant snow, all that, that's 3 things in the last couple of years, and we get a break for a bit.
Do you foresee any challenges for the rest of the year for farming in northern Michigan?
Like foreseen challenges?
Well, maybe, economic, or maybe
I would
on the
say
horizon weather-wise.
There's a couple of things that concern me, I guess. Fall is typically the busiest season, for us and a lot of businesses, specifically on the tunnel of trees. And, the tunnel of trees has been impacted with a number of different detours and washouts. It's actually an incredibly small watershed from the top of Stutzmansville to the lake, but the water that falls there goes down, hits a layer of clay, and comes out the high banks there. And, there's number of different places that the road has failed and been impacted. So having driven that initially when it happened, and then after that, I think it's important for people to realize that the Tunnel of Trees is still open. It's still beautiful. There are some detours. But what's going to happen in the fall is that when you detour away from the lake and you go inland, the trees along the tunnel, a lot of times closer to the lake, don't change as rapidly as the trees inland. So it's going to be this nice balance of looking out at the lake, the view that people have always loved, and then having to duck inland and see more color change, and then go back and see a different route than what people are maybe accustomed to. But also realize that there's a number of businesses along the tunnel that have been severely financially impacted by this and need the support, need people to know that they are still open, and come out and visit everybody. Come out and have coffee at Trillium Woods and go to Goodhart General Store, and every business along the line up to Legs Inn, and go out and give those guys a high five for being open and powering through, because this has not been easy for anybody. And again, back to community. We got to pull together and support each other. And I think what the general public can do to help the businesses up 119 is just stop in and visit them like you always would, and know that the road will get fixed and life will go on.
We're with Farmer Jimmy from Pond Hill Farm in Harbor Springs. Earlier this month, you were cutting some wood, got attacked by some bees, had a bad reaction to the stings. Would you walk us through what happened and perhaps share what listeners can learn from your misfortune?
Yeah, so that was a funny one, because obviously working outside and working around things that are flowering and fruiting, you're around bees all the time. I would say on average I get stung a couple times a month, or and have been attacked before. I've been stung 50 times in the face. I have had a lot of different bee interactions in my life. Grew up throwing rocks at paper wasp nests and whacking them with sticks like kids do. So I guess I have never had a reaction to bees beyond the normal things. But so this day climbed up on a log pile with a chainsaw, started cutting into a big hollow log. It had bees in it. Started getting stung, got out of there, didn't think too much of it. Got stung 6, 7, 8 times in the hand, something like that, on this hand that I was running, holding onto the saw with. And I guess jumped in the tractor and was headed back to the farm because I was down the road. Started feeling funny. When I looked behind me, I could tell, things weren't quite right. So I pulled out my phone to text Marcy to tell her to come and, make sure I made it home. My phone died, and was, driving down the road maybe a mile from the farm, and decided to just full throttle down the road because I knew where we had an EpiPen at the farm, and didn't think, again, too much of it, other than, knew that I was starting to have a reaction to bee stings, and I guess full throttled off into the forest and ran into a tree, and woke up on the floor of the tractor. Really about as out of it as I have been in my life. Next thing I guess I came back to the farm, crawled into my mom's house, and she called 911. So got an ambulance ride to the hospital, and anyway, long story short, I'm fine. The tree's okay. Tractor bucket, we'll get a new one. Actually picked it up yesterday. So I think the value in this is that a lot of males are fairly stubborn. My left arm is numb. My vision is blurry, and my chest hurts, but I'm fine, type of thing. So if you're, think that you're having a reaction to bees, you probably are, and maybe get out from behind the wheel of a machine. I could have killed somebody, or it could have been way worse. So had I pulled over and stood in the middle of the road, somebody would have picked me up. I could have saved myself, could have saved the tree, a tractor bucket, and chip out of my front tooth, and a couple of weeks of hobbling around from running into something. So I guess that's the value in sharing the story, is that hey man, just because you've been stung lots of times, doesn't mean that one day you won't have a reaction. But I haven't been stung again since then. I do have EpiPens now, and yeah, I know that the other. I will be looking into bee sting therapy. I have a couple of people that have reached out to me that have had similar incidents. Apparently, you can go through a process of, kind of making this better, which I haven't started yet. But, there's no way that I'm going to stay away from bees. I mean, it's just not possible. So, anyway, that's the story. And...
Yeah, it's interesting though. I think most people listening would assume, I've been stung before and never had a bad reaction, so I don't need to be too worried about it. That certainly was my mentality until I heard your story.
Yeah.
So, I used to work at a lavender farm, and so I got stung every once in a while, and I hadn't gotten stung in my entire life up until that point. And I was like, all right, I was a little worried. Was I going to be allergic? No, but you never know.
For anybody who's curious, it was probably 15 minutes before I really started feeling it. I mean, obviously it hurts and all that. But, when I started feeling it, I actually looked behind me in the tractor. And when I looked back and then looked back forward, everything kind of... it was like, whoa, all right, so, something's going on here. And it was less than 5 minutes after that I guess I passed out and went into the forest. So I know that I looked at myself in the mirror when right before I passed out, and I was sweating profusely and, starting to drool on myself. And it was like, whoa, yeah. Like, this isn't great, but thought I could make it.
Yeah. Is there something else about your farm that we may not have touched on that you want people to know about?
Yeah, so I guess back to that sustainability thing, our busiest seasons are, really July, August, September, October, and we do all this fun stuff, but know that all these businesses, when they need the most support, honestly, is winter. And, what we do, to try to give back to our community in the winter and, of course, get people to come out and visit us is we groom 6.5 miles of trail for cross-country skiing, fat tire biking, and snowshoeing, and that is free of charge. We groom it every time it snows, so there's a lot of effort that goes into grooming a trail system. And then our tubing hill. So the tubing hill is also free of charge. We have about 20 tubes. People can come and use the hill. But maintaining all that stuff is a lot of work, and it's more fun when people use it. So I guess come out and visit us in the winter. Enjoy the snow. People that live up here that like winter enjoy living up here a lot more, and people that go outside enjoy winter. So if you're somebody who, hates winter and sits inside and looks out and says, I can't wait for the snow to melt, well, try putting on gear and going out there and playing in it. Winter is actually pretty great, but you have to push yourself. Yeah, you have to push yourself and go outside. So, anyway, come out and enjoy free tubing or a trail system.
Final question for you, since this is all made possible by Ellsworth Farmers Exchange. Do you mind touching on your relationship with them and how it benefits your farm?
Sure. So Ellsworth Farmers Exchange, for anybody who doesn't know, as a co-op, they sell all kinds of things farm-related, seed and feed and fertilizer and all that. Some of the things that they do that, kind of help us out or help anybody who becomes a customer there. They do have an agronomy service, so you can come out and they have people that will help you with soil testing, answer questions, all that kind of stuff. They do deliver as well. So there's a route you can, place an order, have it delivered at your farm, especially with, bigger things come in a box truck with a lift gate. And yeah, they've helped us, with fertilizer in the spring and lime and, any kind of chemicals, seed, all that. So those guys have been good to work with and good to have places like that in our community. So thank you to them for their help and for sponsoring shows like this.
We've been speaking with Farmer Jimmy from Pond Hill Farm in Harbor Springs. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and hopefully we'll get to see some people out driving the Tunnel of Trees this fall. So cheers, everyone.
This has been Featuring a Farmer on WMKT's Talk of the North. Brought to you by Ellsworth Farmers Exchange, a proud Legend seeds dealer supporting local farmers across northern Michigan with a wide variety of products and services, 4 locations to serve you in Ellsworth, Atwood, Mansalona, and Alanson. Tune in on the last Wednesday of every month for a new Featuring a Farmer interview. And if you have a farm and would like to be considered for a Featuring a Farmer interview, call Nathan Swales at the Ellsworth corporate office. We're going to head to a quick break. When we return, let's talk a little bit of Tigers baseball. Coming up after these messages. You're listening to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk, WMKT.
Audubon began with birds. Birds so beautiful that they were hunted to near extinction. But as birds disappeared from nature, people rallied to save them. Working together, they helped birds rebound. Eagles and puffins, pelicans and condors all bounced back to once again thrive in the wild. Today, Audubon is an ever-growing force for conservation, and birds continue to be symbols of our planet's health, sentinels that alert us to change and spur us to action. Across continents and generations, the people that Audubon brings together are creating a safer climate, cleaner waters, and more vibrant lands. Because we know that what's good for birds is good for us all. For more than 120 years, Audubon has recognized the power of birds to unite and inspire, and the power of people to do extraordinary things. Visit audubon.org to learn more and to join us.
This is the 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM Triple Talk, WMKT Community Calendar. On Saturday, September 5th, head to the Old Town Emmett Farmers Market for a benefit cookout supporting the Friendship Centers of Emmett County. Enjoy delicious food starting at just $6. The cookout runs from 10 a.m. to 3 at the Friendship Center parking lot on Anderson Road in Petoskey. Eat, shop, and support a great cause. And on Tuesday, September 1st, from 10 to 11:30 in the morning, the Walden Lake Association and Conservancy present its Summer Speaker Series, choosing native plants for your garden. Join Monica Gruler of Gruler Gardens at the Talcott Event Center in Walden Lake for practical tips of using native plants to support pollinators, improving soil conditions, and protecting water quality. And on Thursday, September 3rd at 10 a.m., join the Little Traverse Bay Humane Society and Greenleaf Trust for a free estate planning educational session. Learn about wills, planned giving, and creating a lasting legacy. Coffee and refreshments will be provided, and space is limited, so register today at the Little Traverse Bay Humane Society website. The community calendar is a service of Triple Talk, WMKT.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-854-4040. That's 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
The headlines, the issues, and the news that affects Northern Michigan. WMKT's Talk of the North with Nick Rudy on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM Triple Talk WMKT. Call in and be part of the conversation at 866-371-1270.
Welcome back to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM, 1270 AM, Triple Talk WMKT, streaming online at WMKTTheTalkStation.com. Tigers lose again after a decent start from Troy Melton. The offense has completely disappeared, and that is largely due to Torres and Dingler and Keith and Torkelson being in an awful slump. So not a whole lot that you can do. Riley Green's still on the IL, although it's not like he was lifting the team to great heights by himself either. So Tigers lose, and they're now 5 games out of the final wild card spot, actually 6 when you account for the tiebreakers that they do not have in hand. Cleveland is currently underway against the Angels about in the 7th inning. They're losing 3-1, so it would go down to 4.5 games out of the final wild card spot, but still would remain likely 6 again due to that tiebreaker. And when the dust has settled on everybody playing the same amount of games, Tigers are now 9 games under 500 after, I think we're just approaching 2 weeks. I think it'll be 2 weeks on Friday when we were 1 game out of the when we had the final wild card spot, and we were 1 game behind below 500. So yeah, congratulations to them. And the thing is, I've mentioned that before, but when we're going to do the autopsy on this season, I cannot stress enough the fact that yes, it is true we have a ton of young talent. Kevin McGonigal is phenomenal. Max Clark, Hao-Yu Lee has been a bit of a revelation. On the pitching side of things, Troy Melton and Drew Summers and Jackson Jobe and hopefully Reese Olson next year and Cater Montero. It's all, fine and dandy on the youth front, and hopefully Colt Keith can figure it out. And, who knows what this Brett Callahan guy is going to be like in the future. And Dylan Dingler is really, really good when he's outside of this slump, of course. So there are a lot of quality players and young players on this team. And we have some guys like Max Anderson down waiting in the wings along with Bryce Rainier. We do have things to look forward to. But we were supposed to be out of that youthful rebuild 2 years ago when we made the playoffs. And now here we are. We're going to miss the playoffs. And it cannot be stressed enough that this was a team that was expected to be contending to make it out of the American League and into the World Series, and we are dangerously close to finishing not even 4th worst, but maybe 3rd worst. KC might catch up to us. 3rd worst in a historically bad American League. And so, yeah, I think there's plenty of blame to go around. I mean, the ownership is cheap. I think the front office has made terrible decisions with the bullpen. A.J. Hinch is the worst manager statistically with making moves to the bullpen or pinch hitting. He's also, he's not been very good. And then the players have just not lived up to the hype. So there's a lot of blame. Every unit, pitching, offense, fielding, front office, manager, ownership, somebody has to be held accountable. And I'm not saying that we can fire Hinch and go out and find somebody that's better than him. And so maybe that's an indication that even though he has been bad and he should be on the hot seat, maybe that is not the solution. Maybe we need to try to unload some of these players who have not panned out, like Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson. That could be something that we can consider. But also, somebody has to be held accountable. And obviously the ownership is never going to sell, but I think part of the reason that we're in the position that we are is not simply a 1-year issue, but an unwillingness to spend at the trade deadlines in the past or during free agency as well, and solidify the offense and get some bullpen arms. We've just been going to the dumpster, and I know it's something that Scott Harris enjoys doing anyway, going into the dumpster for the bullpen arms, and so he's fielding plenty of blame for that. But I mean, I think new ownership would breathe some life into this team too. So not that that's going to happen. That'd be my top pick. And then, flip a coin between Scott Harris and AJ Hinch. I mean, Harris has at least hit on some of these draft picks, some of these players in development. I understand, but when you're a World Series contending team and then you have the season like this, something has to be done. And, I don't know if it's the hitting coach. Maybe that's as far as they're going to go, but hopefully we're going to see some changes in the offseason. That is all the time that we have for today's show. Thank you, as always, for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with more of the news you need to know. You're listening to WMKT's Talk of the North on 102.3 and 103.3 FM and 1270 AM, Charlevoix. WMKT. Have a great night.